We're going to be going over three small topics in this video. We have explicit sets, renaming of attributes, and joined tables. And this is all for our database management systems, preparing us to code for SQL. So with our explicit sets, it is also possible to use an explicit enumerated set of values. And this is saying also, and this is because previously in the playlist link below the like button, we've gone over exist function, we've gone over comparison and nested queries as well. So for this one, it's possible to use an explicit enumerated set of values, so values that are like set in the where clause rather than a nested query. So this is just building off of our previous knowledge of our queries. So for an example, we want to retrieve the social security numbers of all employees who work on project numbers 1, 2, and 3. And this is from our previous diagram that we've looked at. We've gone over this a lot, and it looks something like this. So we have our project number right here, the works on. So we want to return the employee names, so we'd have to link it with our project and get the P name. Unless it's a little bit different, but we can always check that right here. So with this, we want to select our distinct ESSN. So this is actually linking the social security number right here. It's returning the distinct ESSN. We have our works on. So this is going to be for the works on part, and I guess there was an ESSN inside of there. And this is for the project number also 1, 2, and 3. So we can actually go back and look at that, and we can see that we have our works on, we have our project number, and we have our ESSN right here. So the ESSN is going to relate back here, and then we would return this distinct SSN. And that's how that would work for our explicit sets. We have our P number as 1 or 2 or 3. It could be either of those. This is for a P no in, and we use an in for this. Next, we have renaming of attributes. We want to rename an attribute that appears in the result of a query. This is optional. As an example, we retrieve the last name of each employee and his or her supervisor while renaming the result attribute names as employee underscore name and supervisor underscore name. So retrieve the last name of each employee. So we have our select, and we're going to have e.lastname as our employee underscore name. And then we also have our last name of our supervisor, because it says retrieve the last name of each employee and the supervisor. So we have our S last name, and then we have our as supervisor underscore name. So we can rename our attributes that we select right here. We can just rename them. We have our E last name, and then we have our employee last name. Now note that our from, the attributes here, or the elements here, are aliased right here. So we're renaming our total result. Employee as E is an alias as E. That's why we have the E.last name. This is employee. And then we have another employee right here. It's an S, and that's just for the supervisor. So this should be like uppercase S.last name. And that's what get that with there. So that would print this out. And then we have our where. We have our E.super underscore SSN is equal to our S.SSN. And this is saying that we want our supervisor SSN for the employee to be the same as our supervisor social security number. So that's how we would get them equal and check that. So that's for our renaming attributes. Next, we're going to look at join tables. We have a join operation in the from clause, and then we separate the selection and join conditions in the where clause for this. So let's say for this example, we have our employee department, and we want to select the first name, last name, and address of it. Well, we'll just put that in our select. This is obviously from our employee and department, and this is where we want it when our department name is research and our department number is equal to department number. This is because we have to join the two together. Otherwise, we can't get these two separate tables. So we're joining them here, and then we're checking to see if our department name is research. If these are both true, they're linked, and it's research, then we just return our employee's first name, last name, and the address. Now, another way we could do this with a join, and this top one is the more traditional way, but especially in MySQL, this way is also used, but there are some limitations on it. So our select is going to be the same, but just like how it says in the instructions right here, we have our employee. We want to join with the department on the specific case that our department number is equal to department number. So this is pretty cool. It's kind of like how we had this join when we were drawing everything out before we wrote this code. We have our employee join department on the department number, and this is where, so we just have to have the D name equal to research. That's the only part that we have to check. And so that's going to be it for our join tables, renaming of attributes, and explicit sets.